Hi mamas, welcome back to S.U.R.E Parenting. I'm Sammy Bell, author of S.U.R.E Parenting, Building Blocks to Create Their Best Childhood, and creator of S.U.R.E Parenting. Today I wanted to do a video on self-care, and self-care has become quite the buzzword in the internet world, and there have been actually more and more things I've seen about ignoring self-care. Self-care is not enough, it's not that simple. And while I agree that's not the only thing to be concerned about, before you run and give up on self-care altogether, I wanted to address these three things. So, number one, of course, it is not the only answer. Yes, moms are burnt out. Yes, moms need to be appreciated more. Yes, there are mental health pieces that need to be addressed. There's physical health pieces that need to be addressed. There are systems within the family that need to be addressed. And self-care is still worth putting your effort into. It's still worth taking the time to prioritize yourself and to care about how you are feeling throughout the day and how those feelings are affecting you, your ability to parent, and your kids. So it's still valid to focus on self-care, even if it's not the one and only answer. Okay? So part two is that we each have different energy levels, we each have different abilities, we each have different life situations, and we each have different priorities. And I think that where self-care starts to get sort of a bad rap is the idea that self-care means going and getting highlights in your hair, getting your nails done, getting a massage. And then as single mom with 2 young children who doesn't have a sitter and is barely making ends meet, feels like, well, I can't do that. So I guess I'm just screwed. I can't have any self-care and I'm just doomed. And that is so not the truth. So on the S.U.R.E Parenting blog, which is sureparenting.com/blog, there are 5 articles that break down different ways that you can achieve self-care based on how much time you have. So from like a couple of seconds to some long period of time, and your energy level. And so what that means is that just naturally, just baseline, about half of people have higher energy and about half of people have lower energy. And this isn't just referring to like whether you got enough sleep. I can have a great night of sleep and I still have a lower energy level than somebody like my husband. He wants to be moving all the time. He doesn't want to sit and be still. For him, like self-care type things are playing tennis and going on a run and doing physical sort of whole body motions and movements that excite him, that energize him. For me, being an introvert, and he is an introvert, but just his energy level is higher than mine. He's an introvert socially. I'm an introvert socially as well, but also my energy is low. So I love to sit under a cozy blanket with a good book. That can drive some people crazy. I love to write, to just sit with a pen and paper and just write pages and pages and pages on whatever. I actually typically hand write out my blog posts before I type them because the act of writing is therapeutic for me. There are some people who hate to write. They might hate to write because their brain goes really fast and they can't write fast enough. Definitely suffer from that. They might hate to write because they never learned proper form in their hand and their hand gets really tired. They might hate to write because they have bad handwriting. They might hate to write just because that's their nature and they really don't, enjoy that slow, kind of low energy activity. So it's important to recognize where you land. If you are a high energy person, self-care things may be high energy for you. If you are a low energy person, self-care things might be low energy for you. Then you get into mental health. If somebody is suffering from depression, most often they're going to have lower energy. So telling them to go take a kickboxing class, it's kind of just a slap in the face. They don't have the energy for that. They're barely getting out of bed every day. And their self-care might not even be taking a shower. It might be blowing some some leave-in conditioner into their hair and calling that good. You know, it might just be putting their hair in a bun rather than letting it hang. Whatever it is, you have to pair it to what your current situation is. If you are financially strapped, your self-care items need to be free. If you aren't, your self-care items probably should be some sort of investment in you financially, because when you put out there, you put out 30 bucks, 50 bucks, you are saying, I'm worth this. Does that mean that's the only kind of self-care there is? No. Does it mean it's better than free self-care? Not at all. Not at all, because it has to reflect your situation. There's so many different types of free self-care that are actually an investment in time, or an investment in energy, an investment in creativity, that are totally valid, and they actually would have more of an impact on certain people because the money is just not a concern. Like, it's not a big deal. Whereas for other people, it's really hard for them to spend that money on themselves. So actually spending the $25 and getting a pedicure is significant for them. Whatever matters to you, that's really the crux of it. We are different, and there has to be different solutions for each of us. Self-care, like anything, is not one size fits all. So in those blog posts, like I said, there's 5 different posts. There's a total of 88 different ideas, from something super basic and simple, like recognizing that your that first sip of hot coffee in the morning is this 1.5 seconds of bliss, like actually mindfully sitting in that for just a second, literally, all the way to going to a seminar or conference on something that you're totally hyped about. So there's a huge, huge, huge range of options. And if before you give up on the idea of self-care, I think you should go through and see if any of them sound nice to you. So the third one is possibly my favorite, something that we really don't consider. I don't think I've heard anybody say this. You may not have to actually add anything into your day. One of the biggest obstacles moms face with self-care is that they're already overwhelmed. Telling them that they need a to-do list and they need to add more stuff to their plate is not helpful. So I want to make it clear, you may be already doing things that count. You most likely are. And if you can adopt the mindset to take the focus from chaos and busyness and on your to-do list to, in this moment, I care about me, I'm caring about myself. This counts. Just that, just the mindset shift can be tremendous. So some examples of that, like I said, the cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever you drink. That moment, that first sip, that is an element of self-care. Getting in the shower, the hot water hitting you, and closing your eyes and letting the hot water run over your face and over your hair with your eyes closed. The water hitting your head really starts to block out a lot of sound. And just closing your eyes and for a moment, just be in that moment. That counts. You know, if you do any kind of makeup, that can count as self-care. If you love to really get dolled up every day and you've been doing it every day, you might have forgotten, or you might just sort of take it for granted, or it's just part of the routine, but have fun with it. Try a new color, you know, just acknowledge like, hey, this matters to me. And I take 20 minutes every day to do my makeup because it's important to me. If you don't, maybe, you know, you put on a nude lip and that counts. Maybe you just put on some chapstick because your lips are dry. That's taking care of yourself. Taking your supplements, if you take any. I take Juice Plus every single day because it transformed my health. And I stopped taking isolated vitamins because they weren't really doing anything for me. And making that shift, that was 5 years ago in January. And it's currently a couple days before December. So we're like a month away. So it's about 5 years ago that I made that shift. And I don't think about it anymore until I started writing these blog posts. But really, that is an act of self-care for me. I know this is going to help my anxiety. This is going to help my sleep. This is going to help my weight. This is going to help my inflammation in my body. It's going to make sure I don't get migraines anymore. all of these things that have changed. It got rid of my IBS. So nowadays, I don't put a ton of thought into it because it's just kind of a typical part of my day. But in reality, that's a huge part of my self-care. And it's important to recognize the things like that. The things that you just do that are already part of your routine, that still count. Give yourself credit. You are caring for yourself. The fact that you clicked on this video and you're watching a video about taking care of yourself is self-care. Does that make sense? So part of this is just recognizing it. It is acknowledging it and giving yourself credit for the work you're already doing. It's really, really important. And if you can't add anything else in right now, that's okay. Go through your day and recognize where you are caring for yourself. Sound good? So those are the 3 things I want you to consider before you give up on self-care. 1, I agree, it's not the only answer, but it still matters. 2, everybody's different. Your self-care does not need to look like your neighbor's self-care or your sister's self-care. It can be huge things. It can be small things. It can be something that's small to somebody else, but is huge to you. It can take 1 second. It can take 12 hours. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it matters to you. And 3, you might not need to add anything to your day. You might not need to just give yourself a little credit for what you're already doing. So that is what I want to say on self-care. Please check out the articles on sureparenting.com/blog. Again, there's 5 of them. They're based on, there's a 25 quick and low energy options. Then there are, I'm going to get the numbers wrong, so I'm not even going to bother, but there's, I think there's 20, 13, 15, 15, I think is how the numbers break out. But then there's medium length and low energy, medium length and high energy, long low energy, and long high energy. So it's broken up like that so that you can look for what you're really looking for without having to go through all 88 options. If you still need ideas, if you really want to do something but you're not sure how to incorporate it into your day, set up a free call. bit.ly/callsammy. The link is in all of the video descriptions. You can set up a free call. I can help you to incorporate self-care into your daily routine and or show you where you already are achieving your self-care in your day-to-day routine. I can also help you to achieve the self-care with kids around, because that does add an element of complication. I can help you find free options. I can help you to make this a part of your life. So use that resource. Please like this video, comment down below what you do for self-care. Let's get this conversation going. Let's give each other ideas. Let's add to the 88 list so that we have more options so everybody can find something that fits for them. And as always, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you are notified when these videos are up every single week. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye.